So what I get: turbocharger oil, delivering seal and outlet and accessory O-ring. This is the intake manifold gasket. You got to get a new one. Of course, you can't really reuse one. I don't care if you have 10 miles on the car. I wouldn't reuse it because it gets squashed down, squished down. That's just not good practice. So, these are the intake manifold bolts. I don't know, I've used them before, I've reused them before. I don't know if you need to get new ones, but I think I looked it up and it said you did, so I just, for about $6, you can't go wrong with cheap insurance. This is actually the oil pump strainer, and I don't think I even need a new one, but it was $3, and I did have a couple pieces of plastic circulated through the motor or gasket maker. 2 oil pump bolts. There's 2 medium-sized ones and 1 long one, like that. Yes, you got to take your oil pump off to get the timing chain on.
And actually, some cars you can get it off with this tool right here, and some cars you just can't. You have to take the oil pump off. And some cars, the oil pumps were updated to where there's M8 bolts, which I haven't ran into those yet, but on the next series with the GLI, it is a little different, and you'll just have to stick around and see what that's about. Basically, they had to call Germany.
No, you can't do it with just struggling and getting, I think you have to do it. You cannot get around that. This looks like it's the PCV valve gasket. Yeah. Oil pickup tube O-ring. Now that is important because you want to make a good seal so you can pick up all of the oil pressure in your pickup tube. If you take your pickup tube out of your oil pump,
then you will need to replace it. I didn't end up saying, but that's what I meant to say.
yes, your oil pump. It is bolted to your oil pump. The oil dipstick O-ring. Now that's also a common thing that people probably wouldn't replace. I'll be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have replaced it if I was stupid. So. And I had to take my valve cover off. So this right here is the vacuum pump gasket. I didn't know it was a vacuum pump. It actually goes around the valve cover and the head, so you have to take it off, take the valve cover off. Replace your gaskets, replace your O-rings. You don't need any more problems. I'm very glad they labeled all of these, but this one they labeled bolt. So I'm gonna have to look up the part number to remember exactly what it is. I do now, I actually remember what it is. So it's the head bolts. You need 4 special head bolts, and they are TTY, torque to yield. You need to replace these. These aren't included in the ARP head stud kit, so you have to order new ones. This looks to be the oil pan gasket, because it came in the same box as the oil pan. I got a new oil pan. I'm not gonna be driving this car, not doing low boy stuff. I'm not gonna be driving this car, lowered or not, with a plastic oil pan. You are insane, Volkswagen, for that. I understand, you know, no problems if you don't go low. There is skid plate options, you know, but you drive that car for, I could imagine, less than a minute without the proper oil pressure, and you will mess some bearings up, for sure. And these are just the bolts for it as well. Of course, you need new hardware. I don't think you need new hardware if you're reusing your oil pan, but I mean, these aluminum ones are a different depth. So you need longer bolts, I believe. Or shorter bolts. I believe the plastic is the longer one. And I was wondering where my spare oil drain plug was, because I ordered one, because I didn't know if it had a magnetic drain plug in it. It sure does, and I got another one right here, so I don't think it fits anything other than MQB. So we're almost to the end. This is the exhaust manifold gasket. Now this is where your turbo bolts to the car. You need to replace your gaskets. It's crucial. It's crucial. So this is just peace of mind, not being stupid. No boost leaks, no oil leaks, not a none. I'm tired of it. And of course, last but not least, a head gasket. Now, I would not cheap out on this. I really don't care too much for OEM parts if they make good quality L-ring, or I can gauge pretty well if I need a OEM part or not, and this is just not one that I'm willing to pass up. OEM can't go wrong. They made your car. And that brings me to showing you the exhaust cam lobe, the square on the end. That actually sticks out of the
Valve cover and into the
vacuum pump housing. This is your high pressure fuel pump. This is the pickup tube. I'm shocked. Very clean. Need to buy these bolts too. These are cam cradle bolts, valve cover cam carrier bolts. You need 22 of them. Very worth mentioning that this gasket maker is aerobic. Anaerobic. You need this. I don't really care what brand you get, but Loctite's reliable.
And that is the very same sealer or anaerobic sealant that I am believing that is inside of the motor right here. I don't really think that they would do this at the dealer though. That's very hard to believe that they'd put way too much on there. I mean, it's just excessive. There's a lot. And how did he make it past the valve stem springs?
Let me show you now what's left to do. Before putting all the new parts on, you have to clean these up. These sit in the head. They look like this after 155,000 miles on them. You can see these are a little cleaner too now. See, intake valve and turbo cleaner. Good stuff. Yes, I could have went with something like this and added it to the car after it was running. And yes, it would have ran perfectly fine with the valves caked in carbon, but why do that? I'm pulling the head. Let's do things right. I can't get to the tops, the stem side of the exhaust valves. The exhaust side isn't like this. It's not open. It doesn't have an exhaust manifold. The exhaust manifold is actually built in. So on this turbo car, on this Mk7, this is built in. It's casted in. The only way to clean it would be to spray some in here or spray some down under the springs. You would have to take the valves out if you wanted to completely clean it the proper way. But so what I need to do is I need to finish cleaning up those, whatever these things are. I honestly don't know. I'm learning as I go with you guys. I need to slide them back in there. I don't believe it matters if it's got the first one and the third one. I don't think they are specific to each cylinder because they look exactly the same and they are not numbered. Just saying. But I need to clean those up, clean up the rest of the head, which I'm just about done with. I'm going to spray some more of that valve cleaner down in the head, leave it sit for about 30 minutes, spray it again. Just get all of it dissolved if I can. And after that, I need to clean up these piston heads. And also, luckily, there is no bore scoring on any of these cylinders. None, nada. I have looked at them, I have felt them, they are all good. These are rod bearings, main bearing. They're not main bearings, but they come off the crank. Okay, they're just about the same as the main bearings, but a little different. That, yeah, that's, wow. You know, that's like not even a bearing anymore. So that has been through a lot of heat, okay, to say the least. And well, that's all of them. So the CC is dead right now. And just to reiterate, the oil pan on that CC, when it looks like that on the bearings, is gonna have something like this in the oil pan. So if you enjoy this kind of content, you know, while we're here, go ahead and follow me. It really doesn't hurt you, and it just tells YouTube that you want to see my stuff. It helps me, it helps you see everything you need to see, and hey, I'm trying to give you all this information for free. I'm trying to put you on game, so go ahead and fix you a Volkswagen. Let's get into why the dealership, or how the dealership actually misdiagnosed this car.
Just kidding, you're gonna have to watch the next video if you want to hear about that. I'm sorry.